So in this video today, we are going to be exploring why are doctors leaving the NHS? And this is actually a very important question because a survey that was carried out by GMC reported that and this was done amongst like over 3,000 doctors. And the report shows that about 30% of these doctors within this group are likely to relocate within the next 12 months out of the UK. Now in 2023, about 4,000 doctors gave up their license to go and practice abroad. This is definitely not the total of doctors. It's just like a sample out of a bigger group. They actually represent a larger number that probably did not even participate in this survey. So just imagine the number of doctors, if they decide to go through with their plan to relocate out of the country. It's actually concerning that if this number of doctors keep leaving the NHS, not only is it going to affect the patient care, it's also going to affect, it also has some financial and even economical impact on the country. So based on that survey, some reasons were actually found as the reason why these doctors wanted to leave the UK. So I'm going to be discussing some of those reasons, and I'm also going to be adding some other reasons that I felt could be the reason why some doctors are leaving the NHS and leaving the UK. So if this is something that interests you, why don't you come along with me in this video today and let's talk about it. Hello, my name is Blessing. Welcome back to this channel. I create content about health and wellness, and I also share my journey as a doctor here in the UK and also as an immigrant. So you're welcome to be a part of the community. Feel free to join us. We are happy to have you. Just tap on that subscribe icon, become a part of us, and let us grow together. Okay, so to start with, there are actually a lot of reasons, various reasons why people have plans to leave the UK. But some of them include, number one, lack of job satisfaction. A lot of these doctors actually mentioned or they documented that they feel undervalued and feel unsupported, especially in terms of their pay and their working conditions. They feel like they are not well paid for the job and the efforts they actually put into their jobs as doctors. And this was actually found to be one of the major reasons why these doctors want to leave the UK. But really, let's look at it. Do we think these doctors are being unreasonable or being insensitive? I don't actually think they are, because if you compare how much a doctor earns in the UK compared to, you know, like a place like Canada or a place like the US, you know, it could be a whole lot of difference. I am not exactly sure of the figures, but I actually, or even compared to other places that these doctors are relocating to, like, you know, the Gulf countries, Australia, New Zealand, all of this country, doesn't mean that they actually pay much more. Or could it be that the pay, it's not really because they pay so much more, but more like their expenses compared to their pay is not so bad that at the end of the day they still get a substantial amount of money, compared to like the UK, where the cost of living is rising by the day and yet not so much is happening with the pay. And we are all aware that sometimes last year there was a lot of strike where resident doctors were asking for a pay rise, and you know, that strike actually happened for so many months before the government eventually yielded, and you know, and then the pay rise happened. However, I'm still going to be making a video about this pay rise because, you know, after several months of strike, how much exactly did this pay rise equal to in terms of our income? Was it like, just for us to analyze if it was really significant enough? If it was really like a major, if it was really worth all the several months of strike, could it have been better, or really? So all of that is not what we are going to be talking in this video. We're going to be analyzing it later in another video. Okay, so now the second point that these doctors also raised as the reason why they are relocating is that they have a deep discontent, you know, like about the whole UK political system, you know, the healthcare system and how it's impacting on their well-being. And if I really can relate, I think it's actually possible for one to feel this way, especially as an IMG. I remember during the recent, you know, instability in the country, where there was a lot of attacks on immigrants and the whole lot of that. I remember that period was actually a very difficult period because I was scared to leave the house. I wake up in the morning, I'm looking through the window, hope there's nothing happening outside. You're walking and you keep checking your back. I hope there's no one coming after me. And people keep telling you, oh, avoid so road, avoid this road. Oh, there is an attack going on somewhere there, don't go through this road. And then every time you have to check your phone to get the latest information before you even step out of the house. That's one of those things. And then recently there's been a lot of talks around immigration, immigration policies, a whole lot of things happening, negative media about immigrants and all of that. All of these things I feel like it can actually cause some level of discontent, and it could actually be a concern, it can bring a level of worry that can make someone feel like, okay, I don't feel like this place is the best place for me. Of course, it doesn't happen a lot of times, but then at that time, it's actually possible that one feels that way. And maybe for so many other things, like a lot of policies, some of them might not be favorable to maybe individuals. This could be one of the reasons why. I'm just trying to maybe possibly reasons why these doctors felt this way. Now, another thing is burnout. Okay, now, so burnout is actually like a major one, because really being a doctor in any setting, in any system at all, is stressful. No, being a doctor is hectic. Yes, that's the word. And not just that it's hectic, it's actually like it takes every part of you. You can become so absorbed with the job that you lose sense of a lot of other things happening around you, or that you should be involved in. People have to work long hours, and everything, they have to run certain pattern of shifts, that they are practically almost away from their family, away from a lot of things, that they don't even have time to do a lot of other things. And so burnout is actually one of those things that a lot of doctors tend to experience. And I think recently, even on social media, I've actually seen a lot of doctors coming out to talk about the fact that they are quitting medicine. And one of the reasons they give is burnout. So I think everyone can easily get burnout in a system like medicine. And even in the NHS, there's always a lot to do. It's actually something that can easily happen. But then, doesn't mean that in these overseas countries, they don't have a lot of jobs like that. I don't think that is exactly the situation, but I feel like like here in the UK, a lot of doctors have to take up extra shifts in order to be able to make enough money to support themselves for the month. But then maybe in those countries, because they are earning quite well, they probably may not have to take up those extra shifts. They can work like more flexible rota, because they know that even at the end of the day, whatever I'm still going to get is still going to be good enough for me. So I'm just thinking, could that be the reason why these people might be leaving the country? Now, the next point to actually consider is some persons actually said they wanted new opportunities, and that's why they are basically traveling abroad. For some person, it's just all about, oh, I'm tired of this system. Especially for those who are locally trained here, they've been here for a very long time, they've been here, it's more like I've seen it all, and now it's more like, okay, I just want to explore somewhere else. I want to see what medicine is outside of the NHS. I just want to see what is it like outside of the UK. Sometimes that might actually be the reason. Maybe for some persons, maybe they've found like some other job opportunities in some other countries that if UK is better than the roles they have here. And so it's actually possible that somebody wants to leave for that reason. And in recent times, I think I also need to mention that I also think that one of the reasons why a lot of doctors are leaving is also because of lack of career progression. Recently, we are aware that there's been a lot of issues with getting training slots, and there's a whole lot of talk going on about that. I think a lot of doctors are also relocating because of this reason. Maybe they plan to get into training, but then they don't get training slots, and they just feel like, okay, I don't think I'm ready to work outside of training for the next 1 year, and they're just like, okay, let me just try somewhere else, maybe go to another country and pursue training there, or maybe just go and work for that period, and then they can come back later when there's a training opportunity here in the UK. And another one that I also feel I should add to it is the high cost of living, the heavy taxation, bills are becoming more expensive, and not so much is really changing in terms of your salary. And so by the time you pay your rent, you pay for electricity, you pay for everything, whatever is left is just barely enough for you to actually get by. And especially if you don't have some other commitment, maybe you have like a mortgage you're trying to pay back, and it would actually become very difficult. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of doctors actually take up extra jobs in order to be able to keep up with all their financial responsibilities, and that could actually take a toll on someone else. And so it's just easy if this person finds an opportunity outside where they are able to earn more. And I also understand that in some of these Gulf countries, you don't even pay tax. So just imagine that you are able to earn enough, you don't have to pay tax. It's just your basic expenses, and maybe the cost of living is not even so high as the UK, and so you still get to save a lot for yourself. And while we're having this discussion, I just feel like it's very important, because as a doctor, it's staring at you right in the face, and even for the public, you can have a big impact on the healthcare system. Because if a lot of doctors are leaving, and I also understand that even following the report of the survey, now the GMC is considering like what interventions can be done, trying to encourage the government that what are the things that can be done in order to improve the working condition of doctors, and to ensure that these doctors do not have to leave the country. If a lot of doctors are willing to leave the UK, it means like a lot of doctors are still not satisfied with the current situation of things, and so it means that there's still a lot to be done. I'm just doing this because I just feel like it's really important to talk about this trend, and it's just concerning, it's just worrying. And even some persons who have not said it, they maybe due to some reasons, they might even begin to consider it. I'm just trying to say that this is just based on the result of survey. I'm sure that much more than this number is probably considering that at the moment. Okay, so this is where I'm going to be ending this video today, and feel free to like, to comment, to share, and also subscribe to this channel. Until I see you again, take care. Bye.